Welcome everyone to the Pantheon of M. I'm your host Ray Schoenberg, and today it's the third Monday of the month, which means I get to review a Razzie-nominated film. And today's review, it's Hellboy, the 2019 film starring David Arbor and directed by Neil Marshall. Now, Marshall is known for doing thrillers like Dog Soldiers and the Descent movies. This is a rated R film, and it is considered a horror. It is a reboot, if you will, or it's a reboot of what Guillermo del Toro did with the original Hellboy movies. This got a Razzie because it wasn't well received. I think the best part of this film is David Arbor as Hellboy. I think his portrayal as the character, when you're looking at Ron Perlman, who, by the way, Evie and I went to go see him at the I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018 or 2019, Niagara Falls Comic Con, just before the pandemic. And he was asked, like, point blank, like, what was his feelings towards the reboot. And this is what he said, and I'm going to paraphrase. He didn't hold any grudges. I mean, the only thing he was protective of was Guillermo del Toro, the director, because he loves that guy. He has nothing but great things to say about him. It's his legacy. It's one of his imprints to film. A pantheon of films, especially in the genre of horror and the comic books, because Guillermo del Toro is a genius in his own right. He's a child at heart when he does these films. His enthusiasm, and these are the things that Perlman has said. And he would love to work with Guillermo del Toro on almost whatever he has. Now, Perlman is up there in age. He's around 7 years of age. He can't really do these big action films, so to have someone to take over the mantle of Hellboy makes sense. Now, was the film any good? Now, what I'll say is this: he didn't reference to how bad the film is, and he knew there was some chaos that was going behind the scenes between. There was rumors about Arbor and the director in general. And I think nobody on either side wants to make a bad film. Everyone goes into it with great intentions, and no one wants to have butt heads, creatively or instantly. I mean, they want to make a film successful because at the back end, everyone makes money, everyone's happy, and you're only as good as your last film. And people will remember you for your mistakes, and people don't, director as well as a star. So no one really wants to do disservice to it. That being said, there's a lot of things I did not like, but let's get into the heart of it. What's the story about? Well, Mila Jovovich plays the Blood Queen, similar to another film I'm going to reference to, Justice League, the movie that not necessarily, doesn't matter which one it is, the Mother Boxes, where after the fight with Darkseid's henchman, the rock star band is Steppenwolf. They separate the Mother Box to three different areas of the Earth, hidden from mankind. That's what they did with the Blood Queen. They chopped it up in little pieces. They cut up the Blood Queen because she's a threat to mankind. She wants to bring the end of days to man. So they cut up in little pieces. King Arthur, with his Excalibur sword, separates her body, her head, her hands, everywhere else, and they scatter her bodies all over the world until eventually someone finds pieces of her and tries to bring her back to bring the end of days. Ragnarok, whatever you want to call it, they bring her back. Arthurian legend with Merlin on King Arthur. They mix that story with Hellboy's true origins, which is in itself absurd, but it does make sense for this movie. The imagery, like Baba Yaga, they have a boogeyman in here. The boogeyman is very trippy. It reminds me of Silent Hill in terms of the imagery, the eeriness, the dimensional juxtaposition of where we are, the uneasiness of it, and the not vertigo, but there's a kind of an untangible just atmosphere about it. And of course, if you watch John Wick, Baba Yaga is from that name, the Boogeyman. It's Russian, where it's like Candyman, where you say Baba Yaga 5 times in the mirror. The Baba Yaga would appear, and he comes to claim the child. He eats children. So this is where I got the connection between Baba Yaga and the love and his obsession for kids. There is some sort of storyline or mythology with the boogeyman in children, especially Eastern mythology and stories about the boogeyman. This holds true. So they kind of explore that in this movie. It's not as good as I would want it to be. I was hoping it to be. Because it has that kind of Silent Hill imagery and uneasiness to it, that was very cool. And I think again, David Arbor as the hero playing Hellboy, I can't think of anyone else playing that role other than him, because if you connect it between Ron Perlman and him, it's almost meant to be. And that's the highest high praise. And I think David Arbor, being a character actor, really come from obscurity. Of course, he just did Black Widow, which is another big role for him. And he made his breakthrough role, though he's been acting for over a decade plus, was, of course, in Stranger Things, Season 2. When it was at the end of Season 2 when this movie came out. Season 3, was released. I think I was running when this movie was released. So he is a character actor, a bona fide and really solidified star, in my opinion. I hope nothing but good things for him. And the other name I want to name drop I want to do is Sasha Lane, who plays Alice, the clairvoyant, who ends up having a power in herself to help fight these ghosts and demons. You can see here recently now this past summer in Loki, she played Hunter C20, so she's coming around and making a splash for herself in film, or in this case, streaming. So that's my big plug. So if she looks familiar to you, or if you can see who that was, Alice from Hellboy is Hunter C20 from Loki, and I'm looking forward to see more of her. She seems like a really good actress, and I hope to see more of her. Anyways, Mila Jovovich, of course, it was because of the Resident Evil connection. I think that's why she was cast for this role. She's having fun. Do I take any of this serious? I mean, not really. I mean, Ian McShane playing the father is probably the only connection I have from the last film, but they're using sequences from The Haunting of Connecticut with the ectoplasm. That one threw me off a little bit. That wasn't really. I mean, I understand. Like, okay, the premise of it, I understood from a lot of it. The storyline, I get. The execution, I think something was wrong in terms of the script to the translation onto the big screen. I think a lot of the things had to be reshoot, because I think what they wrote down didn't end up the way they wanted it to be on the big screen. And I know there was some chaos between the actor and the actress, the director, and what they wanted. And I'm not sure what the issues were, but I'm guessing as a result, because there was some sort of chaos, it sort of affected the actual product. And no one wants to do a bad project, because the last project you do reflects you yourself. So the stars, the actors, the directors, it's a stain on them, and everyone wants to do a good job, but no one wants a Razzie. I mean, unless you want a Razzie, that's not very good. So I'm going to say this: I like David Arbor. I think he's the best thing about it. The sequence with the vampires and the opening sequence when he's trying to look for his friend, and then they're giving him, the point of that was to tell him a foretelling of what's to come. Again, shallow, didn't go nowhere. Cool in execution, cool special effects, cool little horror thing, horror trope. It's sort of like a revisit to various things, including Dusk Till Dawn. But there were a lot of things, like, as I mentioned, there were things like Justice League, Haunting of Connecticut, Dusk Till Dawn. There are so many things that you can look at and say, well, this is a throwback to this, a throwback to various different things, and that's a good thing. At least he is a student of film. And Neil Marshall, who's done Dog Soldiers, he's done both the Descent movies, which were really good horror subgenre, fear, of close spots, close spaces, and just a really good thriller. These are good movies. So he's a crafted and really gifted actor. I just think the material was ambitious. I don't think it was what either actor, director, or team really fully realized. And I think because of that, I mean, it made $55 million in the box office, but its budget was $50 million. So when you go about thinking paying back the theaters, paying back advertisement and all the other things, as well as the actual budget, it's as opposed to the actual budget itself, the film tanked. Once you pay back the distributors and all the people and the marketers and everything else, and $5 million, that's going to go like that, like beyond that. So the film underperformed. So that is the unfortunate thing about this movie. Even Ian McShane's role is a contradiction. I think that was intentional, but it doesn't come across what you want it to be, as you want it to be. And the climax, though there is some bonuses like Abe Sapien, the gimme with Abe Sapien, which you don't see until the end. Spoiler. So there are some things that are good about it, but realistically, this is not worth buying. It's not worth $40 of your pocket to go see this movie or to buy the rental. This is either streaming it, renting it. It's definitely a rental. I recommend to go see this if you want to have a good time and you don't really care and you're really missing Hellboy. Though Mike Mignola had an animated trilogy. I'll post it I'll post it at the bottom right now for you. These are cartoons that of Hellboy based on Mike Mignola's work, so it's more true to form to his vision of Hellboy, and they're pretty good cartoons. I don't have to, I unfortunately will never get around to actually reviewing these films, but check them out. If you're missing Hellboy, if you're missing the Guillermo del Toro stuff, this is pretty good. This is the next best thing to see the story of Hellboy and where it goes from there. So on that note, I wish you happy holidays, because Christmas is around the corner. Summer is almost gone. We're in August, and I just can't believe how fast the summer is gone. So we'll be back September with a brand new review. It's going to be a Travolta movie. It's a Razzie movie, and it's not Battlefield Earth, though it would have been exciting if I did Battlefield Earth. So with that, we'll see you next month with a brand new Razzie review movie on the third week of Monday, and we'll talk to you later.